In the Wisconsin Dells, they have some pretty funny looking boats. You can't tell if it's a car or a boat. Similarly, Frame 12 has some large gussets, and I frankly can't tell if they're gussets or bulkheads. To start, Frame 12 comes together like every other open top frame. As you can see here, I tried using a sponge applicator to apply the epoxy. This is not something I recommend as it's just too flimsy. For the thickened epoxy, I tried applying it with a plastic spatula, and while it worked, again, it's not something I'd recommend. I really prefer a stiff brush to apply both unfilled and thickened epoxy. After the epoxy cured overnight, I flip the frame over and work on the second side. Sanding is just to remove the excess epoxy. Now it's time to attach the large gussets. I dry fit the gussets like every other gusset and bulkhead. But then I clearly treat these as gussets because I remove them, preparing them for permanent bonding with epoxy. In Dan Lee's quarter scale build, he only dry fit these gussets, treating them like bulkheads, and then they would be permanently attached at a later stage. With further study of the plans, I'm confident that either method will work because the gussets don't fit onto the stringers, they just line up next to the stringers. I'm back to using a brush to apply the epoxy and the thickened epoxy, but as a viewer recommended, I agree that a larger brush would make much quicker work of this project. My epoxy lines on these gussets are not perfect. However, I'm not that worried about it because I plan to encapsulate each frame and the gussets with 3 layers of epoxy. Why I'm wearing a dust mask when I should be using hearing protection, I can't explain. Finally, on frame 12, I correctly apply the strong back legs with a spacer the first time around. Here's a close-up view of the spacer that ensures the strong back leg runs parallel to the frame. All that's left now is marking the center lines and the water lines onto the frame. And maybe a little epoxy cleanup as needed. Crossing the Mississippi River from La Crosse, Wisconsin to Minnesota, let's take a final look at frame 12.